Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the usual disclaimers, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much, and they threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused, so you know the drill, folks. Please read that article and share on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever actually does see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1, when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, make sure to please go ahead and use your headphones. Trigger warning 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised. All right, folks, so where we left off last time, right? Let's make it short. My head hurts and I'm cranky and old. For example, Mr. Dr. McCracken, a God, I can't even talk. A clinician who treats individuals with developmental disabilities who engage in SIB or AB testified that his clinic has been successful in treating the vast majority of individuals and has been able to help everyone, at least to some degree, without using skin shock. So does the rest of planet Earth. The fact that this even has to be said is insane. Just look at the data. Look at the research that has happened over the last 40 years. My God, the fact that we had to drag these poor people up here to explain this. And yet our federal government continues to do nothing and sides with the JRC enough that they tried to get them a get out of jail free card, which thankfully failed. But let's continue, shall we? Dr. Alfred Bacati, another clinician, testified that in his 30 years as a psychologist treating patients, including some with SIB AB as severe as those exhibited by the JRC residents, he never used skin shock. Crazy, right? Crazy how literally everyone else who deals with individuals who have these issues, and yes, to the extreme that the JRC does, have been able to successfully treat those folks using the actual medical standard. Whereas the JRC continues to stamp its foot like a 3-year-old and say, but that's impossible. And then they start throwing conspiracy theories. I'm not a fan of conspiracy theories. I don't have the time for insane ranting, and I really wish the tinfoil hat crowd would leave us autistics the hell alone, but here we are. Right? I'm a little tired of the pseudoscience nonsense. I mean, done. Done. You have no idea. Perhaps most tellingly, Dr. Chris White, a licensed psychologist with over 30 years of experience in the field of behavioral therapies, who runs a facility to which many individuals formerly on ESDs at JRC were transferred. Oh, I'm here. Okay, what's the shade? What's the shade? Tell me the tea. testified at a Massachusetts DDS hearing in 2011 that his facility has been able to successfully serve these individuals without the use of aversives by taking a combined treatment approach, emphasizing positive interventions. That's what I've been saying, folks. That's the default for most people who are worth their salt in the mental health care field, even some who are just more mediocre. It is treatment program, but that's not quite catching everything. Supplementing medication for where the more difficult areas are is how this stuff tends to work. Whereas the JRC will continue to stomp their foot and tell you it's impossible, where quite clearly it is not, especially with this Dr. Chris White, who's taken in these former patients of the JRC, that the JRC has insisted it's impossible to help them without torturing them. He has been able to prove otherwise. I'm going to remind you again of the JRC themselves for the individuals whom the GED does not work. Begrudgingly put them in other programs while they insist the electric shock is the only way. My God, the level of hypocrisy, pseudoscience mayhem, and Kool-Aid drinking. I've dealt with anti-vaxxers. I'm not a fan of them at all. Even some of the insane crap they spout sound more plausible than what the JRC tries to scream from the rooftops. There are stands that sound more coherent than the JRC and their bull. Okay? Think about that one. I mean, really think about one, because we know how dumb, agenda ridden, and fact deprived these individuals tend to be. If they are looking competent and sane in comparison to you, you should probably reevaluate a few life choices. I'm just saying is all. And I know it's short, folks, but we're going to go ahead and clear out. I think Dr. Chris White is speaking for all of us today. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time, folks. Bye-bye.